Okay, three, two, one. Hello and welcome to the Avanti Entrepreneur Podcast. I am Dave Mamano, your host, and we are here to help entrepreneurial achievers and business owners and leaders move forward so that they can reach their potential. I do this by interviewing the nation's best movers and shakers, and today I have on the show Tracey Wozny. Tracey, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, David. So glad to be here.
Very, very excited to have you on the show. So we met from a mutual friend, Misty Lown. Misty, I met through Stephen Wessner, who really is responsible for me starting a podcast. I met Misty and Stephen both at the Darren Hardy High Performance Forum. So I just love the trail of introductions here, right, and relationships.
Absolutely, yes.
And so Misty was on my podcast probably about 3 or 4 months ago now, maybe more. But I want to just cue up Misty a little bit so we can understand, how we got to meet. So Misty, and if you want to hear her interview, you go to AvantiEntrepreneur.com, and the whole interview is there. Misty, years ago, started a dance studio in Wisconsin, where she's from, and it quickly became more than just about teaching young, I'll say mostly young girls, but boys too, how to dance, right? Mm-hmm. And it became more about teaching about just good character, life skills, being a good citizen, etc. And she developed a really cool formula, and then developed, kind of a coaching community to expand her impact of what she was doing, right? And now I believe is there over 200 other studios in that community?
Yeah. There's actually almost to 300. 300 is our
max. Wow.
300. Yeah. Yes.
So business owners like you already had a studio, and you were looking for, some best practices to learn how to grow your studio. And that's why you partnered with Misty and became part of her more than just dance community, right?
Exactly. Yes. She's, well, first of all, just a wonderful mentor, but I've been doing actual dance studio business coaching for almost 10 years. I started with a coach out of Canada, Vancouver, Canada, and several of us in her program, or we actually call us her tribe. We started with a gentleman named Sam Beckford, and he was kind of that pioneer of, taking the dance studio business owner and, making it really a legit business. So many of us think of in the dance studio, the starving artist type mentality, and really just how to make a business out of that. And some of us, have that history of just working in the business so much and not necessarily on it. And then, we that was great training at that time, but Misty just really spoke of the culture. I mean, she just really connects with the culture of what we are about, and that, again, more than just great dancing, business is just really bringing out the culture of why we do this, being able to lead kids, not only great dance training, but also to be able to be that great person and that lifelong skill. So yes, I attribute a lot of the success that I've had. I've actually been part of her group for over 6 years right now. And she has grown to 300 studios. And
what number were you? Do you remember? Were you in like the first?
Yeah, I was in probably the first 50 to 60 studios. I jumped on board fairly early. She's had rapid growth within the last year or two, and she's nationally one of the best speakers I've heard. And so when we again, a lot of my colleagues and I have been doing this for many years, and I think as far as cutting edge on information, and she's just authentic, and we all again come from the same mold. I think with her leadership, it's fabulous. So
that's great. Well, I had another woman on my show, Anakia Ballwright-McGee, who I'm sure you know.
Oh, yes.
And, she's doing great things in, I believe, Savannah, Georgia, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
And, and when I was there speaking at the Misty's conference last year, I think it was last year, right?
Yeah,
last
year.
Time flies, right? She won the award, right, for the.
Oh yeah, she was Anna Kiev. She was the Member of the Year award, and rightly so. And I think that's what's great about this group that Misty has started, is that really just the achievement. It's just they all raise the bar. So we fully committed to continuing that education, and what a wonderful leader.
Right, excellent. So let's get to you. Let's make it all about Tracey. Tracey. Tell us your journey. I mean, were you going to
Well,
New York to become a dancer and
yeah, I
what
can't.
what?
Yeah, well, I tell you what, I mean, my journey started about 25 years ago in my business. I actually started a dance school business in rural Missouri. And when I say rural, I mean rural. Like we're population 3,000, a small farm town. Mom was a teacher, and long story short, I had graduated from University of Missouri here in Columbia, and went out on the East Coast, and that's where I met my husband. We decided to come back here, and I just found a real huge need in our community where I, as a dancer growing up in high school, my mom would have to drive me to Kansas City, which is about 100 miles away, just to have anything in our community. And I've always, danced and tumbled from the age of like 2 on to where I am now. And so I had really had a passion for the performing arts, brought that business back in '94 to our small town community because there's not very many activities for kids. And then here we are 25 years later. We have 4 locations, and we serve over thousands kids in a real small area. But about 3 years ago in 2015, I've certain milestones in your life, you kind of sit back and reflect, and that happened about 3 years ago when I had a milestone birthday, I will say that. And
Happy 30th.
yeah, happy
Beautiful.
30th. Thank you, David.
Love it.
And in combination with that, and I'm a big Simon Sinek fan, and I was reading his book, Finding Your Why, and I just knew we as an organization had more to give, and myself also personally. And so we launched a nonprofit called Taking Shape. Our dance school business is called Shapes Dance and Acro, and that name of that came from me thinking, I wanted all different shapes and sizes to be able to be part of our studio. Then I went to wanted an extension of that when we launched the nonprofit. So in 2015, we felt like what we were seeing from our students, really from being involved in a disciplined performing arts, environment, we just started seeing these kids that usually from small town, a lot of them don't go to college where we're from. A lot of them don't, they kind of get into that big, the small fish in the big pond syndrome, and we saw seeing them come back into the small town they just had so much potential, but they weren't using it. However, the kids in our dance schools seemed to be. They were the leaders in their schools and leaders in their community. And I'm like, what are we doing inside these 4 walls? It's really different than what I'm seeing in our small town, just really in the schools. And really, it really attributed what I thought, or what we saw, was these kids are getting confidence in their discipline, and they are having opportunities. We travel a lot with our students, so they had opportunities in the competition arena, also just on trips. Some of our students never left the county, and so it's very common here. So we started seeing a lot of changes with the students that we had. Their potential was really growing, and they just I took a lot of the skills that I saw them gain in the classroom, and I capitalized or put that together into a youth leadership program. And in 2015, we launched Taking Shape. Its mission really is to impact kids to their fullest potential through leadership. And so we have a servant leadership approach with this curriculum. It's a written curriculum that I have, Misty actually helped me launch this idea and then to the fruition of what it is now. And we pretty much on the nonprofit, we reach 3 different platforms. So we're working locally here. Our tagline is here, near, far. So locally, we are impacting kids on a local level. Near, in the Kansas City area, we partner with several different organizations. And then far, which is a personal mission of mine, and we have an orphanage that we work with in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. So that's kind of in a long roundabout way with the dance studio business that is furthered into a nonprofit. Has been a really, really exciting journey for the last 25 years.
Well, I mean, when I think of a dance studio for, young people, I don't think of, a mission in Haiti, right?
Yeah,
so
you don't.
but you guys have taken the model of just helping people to a whole new great extreme. And I love it. It's like, talk about your why. I mean, you're it appears to me that you are a purpose-driven CEO who just happens to be running a dance studio, right? I mean, you
Right.
could be running anything, and I'm thinking that you would take your love of helping people and just finding different ways within that model to continue the impact you're making.
Exactly. And I think too, I mean, I really will attest a lot of it coming from small town values. I came from a dad that was a farmer and a mom that was a school teacher, and they really didn't have the entrepreneurial spirit inside them. I remember, I started working very young, and we'd start out in the soybean fields hoeing beans, and we would come out at 5 o'clock in the morning and put our mud boots on and our jeans and a bean hook, and then out we went, And so
Yeah.
I started seeing that in some of these small town kids, that there really was a great work ethic, but they just had some gaps in, and really this generation as well, which we call the Generation Z kids, which is kind of the youth leadership is really partnered with that group and their values really well. And yeah, so from the dance studio floor on into the real life skills and work ethic and what we can do to work with them to be successful, because I firmly believe that it's our job as our generation, or my generation, to be able to how can we help them be successful, because they're going to be the ones that are taking over in years to
Well,
come.
I love that, Tracey. You're really. It seems like you're the full picture entrepreneur, right? I mean, I say check every box, right? Checking the business box, checking the, I'm guessing also you're very intentional not only about how you give back to the world, which you're obviously proving, but I would imagine you're very intentional about your relationships and your health and your spirituality, et cetera. And that's one of the things that when I heard you on Stephen Wessner's On Nation podcast, I'm always looking for people who I just get a sense that they are trying to certainly make a profit with their business, right? Money's a great tool to do awesome things like help people in Haiti.
Exactly.
But also too, like getting in that end zone and being able to spike the ball and saying, I did so many great things with all the different categories of life, not just business, right? And I was getting that sense that you're that type of person,
Well, thank you. I think, again, I think there's just different, this whole entrepreneurship is such a journey, and again, different types or different times in your life, and really being able to look back and see where this business, where I guess our dance studio business had grown to, and then looking at back, and it's time for us to give back, or it's time for the next chapter. And definitely the next chapter was how can we now get back to others, and this is really what this what taking shape has been.
I think you need to take the kids out on the soybean field and give them that experience.
Let me tell you how many times we talk about that.
Yeah.
Yes. You definitely, and especially again with this generation, I think that's something we take for granted, that everybody does have a work ethic. I think it's something that perseverance and resilience at that age, at this age, is kind of difficult to come by. So
I could imagine
being hoeing stories all the time in our studio.
Oh yeah, I could imagine when you were dating and your husband or your boyfriend at the time might be saying, she's beautiful, she's a hard worker, and she even knows how to pick soybeans. I mean, what a catch, right?
It is. Yeah. Everybody needs to know how to do that.
Absolutely. I love it.
Yes.
So at this point now, I mean, you wear a lot of different hats, right?
Right.
And what is your favorite part of the business that you get to do every day? Is working on the business instead of in it?
Right. Well, I tell you what, I think that, David, the biggest thing is, of course, is working with kids. Like you always, I don't know if you really design that at the beginning of your entrepreneur, journey. But really when you get to, in my field, I'm working on that both on my profit business and on our nonprofit, is to impact kids. And I firmly believe that they're the next generation, and being able to get up every day and love what you do is huge. I will say that I've really had the chance and opportunity to dive in. I'm a huge John Maxwell fan, but to dive into leadership a lot. I didn't realize I was a one-man show for so long. So I've gotten even just this new energy and importance on how leadership is portrayed in both the business side of the profit business and the nonprofit, and knowing very quickly that you can't do it yourself. And how can you be a better leader? We really operate from a servant leadership approach in both of our organizations, and being able to raise those people up underneath. I have an incredible team. I would not be able to do what what I do, or be able to empower the people that I have without that training through leadership. And so that's kind of my fascination right now, is how can I be a better leader? How can I provide value for those that are my team, and show them that that I'm here to continue their growth, and let's reach this mission together. And that's been probably my most favorite thing in the last couple of years, is to get better in that.
I love it. And you can see it. If you're watching the video, folks, you can see it in her face. She's got the biggest smile ever. You can just tell when somebody is just gratified with their purpose, right? Because you're living it every day. John Maxwell, I mean, in my opinion, he's the best, right? He's the best. And absolutely. I got to meet him at a Darren Hardy event years ago with Misty, which was fantastic. Right. And then I know a lot of people now that are John Maxwell coaches, right? Yeah,
yes,
they're licensed coaching. Mm-hmm. Are you a John Maxwell?
I am. I just joined his team about 2 months ago, along with my son, who just graduated from college. That was his college gift.
Wow.
Okay, we're going to be certified coaches. If we're going to be, he's actually at a really great Youth Max as a youth leadership program that he has. So I dove into doing that avenue with him on the John Maxwell team. So very excited about that.
Yeah, because you needed one more thing to do.
I need one more thing. No, I think that's good. I go back to Darren Hardy. I also, you, have been an HPF member, and I always will ring in my ear. You invest that 10% back in your training and your education. It's probably one of the best pieces of advice that I've been given. And
well, what a great experience to do with your son too, right? So
oh yeah, I mean it is. It's
yeah. So I believe Anakia Boatwright McGee is also a certified John Maxwell coach, right?
Yes, she is. Yep. And she's actually the one that kind of gave me the boost. Her experience was amazing, and she I think certified with him last year at this time. So she's very she talks very highly of the whole entire program.
One of the things I forgot to mention is that Anakia is going to be a speaker at my Avanti Live Summit.
Yes,
October through the 8th.
I know, because I have that date on my calendar. I'm hoping that I'm going to get there. So everybody needs to come to that. I read all about that event, David, and I'm very excited for you.
I love it. So if the stars aligned, you will be there.
Yes, the stars align. I wanted to get it on my calendar, as we're working already on our next season. So
I love it. You were thinking about bringing your son too, I think.
Yeah,
right?
And like I said, he graduates from college, and he's ready to, jump right in, and as much as this continuing education that I can pass on to him will be to his advantage. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have another amazing woman as a keynote speaker there, Ellen Latham, who started Orange Theory Fitness, and at age, I believe, 51 or 52, she was fired from her full-time job at a gym being a personal trainer. And so here she is at age 52, unemployed, divorced, single mother, right? And so now 10, 11 years later, she is, the founder of Orange Theory Fitness, 1,200 franchisees, valued at $1 billion. And, people turn 50 and they think, oh, is it too late? I'm like, no. Talk to, you can't really talk to Ray Kroc anymore, but, Ray Kroc's story, Ellen Latham, there's so many stories of people that were able to just reboot and make massive impact even after the ripe, quote unquote, old age of 50, right?
Well, let me tell you I want to hear that story about her, because I've followed, I don't know the whole story about her, but that's my age as well. So I'm inspired. I don't definitely want to know at the age of 50 that we are done.
No, are you kidding me? I just turned 50, and I got to tell you, I still feel like I'm getting started,
There you go.
Yeah.
Right along with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Life begins at 50. Let's write it. Let's co-author a book, right?
Yeah, let's do that. Sounds like a good title.
And you don't look 50. Right? So that's the good news.
Thank
right?
you so much.
I'm actually, people say, I can't believe you're 50, and I take it as a compliment. But in all seriousness, I think I'm in better shape at age 50 than I was when I was like
absolutely.
28.
I totally agree. And the more we learn, the more, the more inspired I get. I'm like, okay, we got a lot to do. I mean, I think the only thing is that little, like, we're kind of halfway here. So I think
Yeah.
it's that, I've grown more since I've been 50 than probably the first 20
Well,
years of,
my goal is 125. I'm going to 125. That's my goal.
hey,
So
in this day and
ideally, I'm
age,
not
I
even
think we
halfway
can.
yet.
That's right.
Well, I think today's environment is so great to be our age because 20 years ago there wasn't all this health stuff going around, right? Like if I got a salad at lunch, my buddies would have made fun of me, right? They're like, Dave, get the chicken wings, and now it's like, everybody, I'll have a salad with salmon, grilled chicken,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, working out is normal, drinking lots of water, meditation, yoga, deep breathing. I mean, it's all in. So, if you are, instigative of these self-care practices,
Hmm.
they're all around, which is wonderful, right? I mean, if you look at
Oh, it
pictures of
is.
think of our pictures of your grandparents at age 50. Like they did not look like you. I'm
No.
telling you right
Well,
now. you know, and it's like it was like I don't know what happened, but
no, I agree.
they just looked a heck of a lot older at 50, right?
I think so. I think so. But no, I think that's one thing and I would say that being in this industry, that was one of the reasons, you had those guideposts around you. We have to, in the dance industry, you pretty much have to stay fit and you have to be able to be conscious of your,
Yeah.
your health and what you eat. And I'm kind of glad I'm in this industry because I don't know if I wasn't, if I'd maybe go the opposite direction, but I agree
Right.
with you. And they say that whatever 50 is like I'm just going to say 50 is the new 30.
I
Right.
love it. I say that 50 is a new 30. Yeah, absolutely. So Tracey, you've got the dance studios. You're doing all the coaching and the mission work in Haiti, et cetera. Super fantastic. And you could just say, wow, this is great. I'm kind of, I'm just going to stay here. But I highly doubt that. Like if we're going to look at Tracey Wozny in the next, we'll say year, 2 years, what's next? What's the vision for the
Wow.
future?
Yeah, I think our biggest push right now is we are very actively working in Haiti with our nonprofit organization. And I just got back last week, actually. We're training 21 kids between the ages of 15 to 18 that study our leadership program down there. They're going to be leading our summer mission camp. So we launched about 3 years ago in 2015, mission camps that bring in, a lot of them are actually through Misty's organization as well, friends of ours that are dance studio owners and their students that want to have that impact, be able to impact through the performing arts. They come down in the summer. We put a camp on for about 300 kids, Haitian kids. We teach performing arts, leadership, sports. I mean, everything from soccer to football to arts and crafts, Bible study. So our week-long camps where the American kids sign up, they come down and help teach those. We teach those to the Haitian kids. But now we learn very quickly, of course, because of, we want to keep that work in being able to give the Haitians work as well. So we've trained these, 21 kids last week to help be assistants with our American kids that are doing. So we've got star leadership kids in America bringing together with the Haitian kids, and they're going to be leading our camps. So it's been really cool to see. So that's going to be the next level, is to full operation of our mission camps where we can continue to impact those kids, here near far.
I love it. I love it. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Congratulations. And what
Thank you.
impact, it's great because,
It's neat to see. Yeah. Thank you.
you don't have to do that. Right. And it's just something that, you're grateful and feeling blessed for your success. And I'm getting the impression that you want to move that forward.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah. And I'm definitely, definitely am grateful. I feel like it's that next chapter in our life, or my life, and the people that are on our team. But I also see such a promise with this next generation of what we call Gen Zers, who are pretty much my clients, actually, and the kids that are in part of our program. But it's just they partnering with them just to see the optimistic future. But they're very entrepreneurial in spirit, in fact, more so than the millennials, statistics say. So how can our organizations partner with them to again see the next legacy of what we're creating? So yeah.
So Tracey, I'm gonna try to make you a little vulnerable here, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So people look at you, and they're, I think a lot of people would assume, hey, Tracey Wozny, she's got it going on, right? And but always, whenever I ask an entrepreneur, show me something behind the curtain, and maybe a quote unquote failure. Obviously, it's not a failure because you're still here, but something that felt like a failure at the time, or maybe a crashed and almost burned story. In your years of experience, have you had something like that happen yet?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think the first 5 years of my business was a train wreck. I had no, I didn't come with a business background. Most of my business experience has been trial and error. I was a speech communications major, and I just plopped down in the middle back of my hometown and said, okay, I'm ready to start a business. So, I think I've always been quick to act before thinking, and so my first, mostly it's like doing your homework and research was my failure at the beginning. I just needed to probably do a little bit more homework on the initial part of. It was easy to purchase a building in real estate where we live because the value of real estate was fairly low. But yeah, we learned some hard lessons during that, and I know a lot better now. I just always have a little bit trouble saying no to a lot of things and overextending myself. But now again, through personal coaching and also again years of experience, I feel like I'm sitting in a lot different driver's seats where I can say, okay, no to the things that really matter to where we're going and where we're pushing forward as far as reaching our missions and our goals, and making sure it's lining up with what our priorities are. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
So last but not least, my question is, I always like to ask successful entrepreneurs some of their personal habits for success, right? So some people talk about they've designed their miracle morning, if you will, which, sometimes includes, meditation, deep breathing, exercise, reading, journaling. What do you do every day, every week to keep you centered and keep you moving forward?
Well, I got two things that are really pivotal, and I'm a big, again, Darren Hardy fan as well. I for the last 5 years, I've habitually do the living your best life ever, or best year ever. So I follow that. I book in my days in the middle of everything. Whatever happens. But I'm very set on bookending. My mornings are exactly the same. So workout is essential. If I didn't have that on my schedule, I don't think I would be able to keep up with all these kids that we are, impacting every week, every day.
What time do you, sorry to interrupt, what time do you wake up?
4:30.
My God.
4:30 a.m.
Love it.
But David, I'm in bed by 8:30.
Are you?
Ideally, I'd like to be in bed by 8:30, but
you try.
But yeah, book in my days. I think that's my biggest strategy is starting out the morning with a very rigid routine. Doesn't always go as planned during the day, but at the end of the night, I just kind of do a little closeout. Like, reflection is a part of my life. But in the middle, sometimes it's hard to stay on.
I know. Well, I most people I talk to do exactly. Most successful entrepreneurs that I talk to have something very similar where they have their routine that starts pretty early, right? 4:30 is definitely early.
Yes.
And because that's, no one's bothering you, right? No one's up there in that time. There's no phone calls, emails. You could meditate, work out, read, whatever is like, that's your time, right?
Yep.
And then I'm the same way. I need to work out every morning and get the blood and oxygen flowing everywhere. Otherwise, I'm kind of a hot mess. And then at night, I just little time, just half hour being like, what am I grateful for? And a little deep breathing and just kind of drifting off, right, for the rest of the day. Yep. Good for you.
Yep. You gotta have that. You gotta have those, guideposts by either side. But that's pretty much my secret at this point.
Well, it's working for you.
It's been a good habit so far.
It's working for you. The first 50 years, it's doing great, right? So,
thank you very much.
So, Tracey, if people want to get in touch with you, learn more about you, all that great stuff, what are the ways to find you?
Oh, okay. Well, definitely. We have our nonprofit is takingshape.care. There's a lot of great information about what we're doing and our mission. I encourage everyone just to hop on there and just find out what we're about and how ways that they can help and serve on our camps, the information on our leadership program. Also, I have my own personal website. So it's Tracey Wozny. avantientrepreneur.com. And of course, on all of our social platforms and Facebook and LinkedIn and all. I'm not the big social media person. I'm trying to be. I've got a great team underneath me that helps us run that. So
good.
All social platforms too.
And Tracey Wozny, Wozny, and we'll have all that stuff in the show notes, everybody, at avantientrepreneur.com. Tracey, thank you so much. This has been such a great pleasure. I love your energy and your smile and everything that you're bringing to the world. Appreciate it.
Thank you, David. And again, I'm very appreciative of the time we've had today, and I'm glad we've had that connection.
Absolutely. You keep on doing what you're doing. I hope I see you in October.
I hope so too. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks again, Tracey. And thank you, Avanti Entrepreneur family. Always honored and blessed that you are taking the time to watch and or listen to the show. We're here every week, new episode, Wednesday morning. Incredible guests, just like Tracey. And we have all our past interviews at avantientrepreneur.com. Info on our Avanti Live Summit coming up, coaching programs, everything we have, avantientrepreneur.com. Thank you again, everybody. Thank you, Tracey. Thank you, Avanti family. Make it a great day and stay awesome.
Thank you.